Nabala Musa, Moro de Nebi. Nabala Musa, Moro de Nebi. Nabala Musa, Moro de Nebi. Guess what? When I figure I'm a two-man. Yamma, Yamma. Oh, I am. I know Ilan Cesare. Joran Namsa. Casso Corora. La Coma. Warantara Donovan Zumzanga. Oh, Tinibenza. Taragoma Tapuro. Tiagenga. Aba Imani Zenza. Nabala Musa, Moro de Nebi. 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 Guess what? When I figure I'm a two-man. Yamma, Yamma. Oh, I am. I know Ilan Cesare. Joran Namsa. Casso Corora. La Coma. Warantara Donovan Zumzanga. Oh, Tinibenza. Taragoma Tapuro. Tiagenga. Aba Imani Zenza. Nabala Musa, Moro de Nebi. Nabala Musa, Moro de Nebi. Nabala
Damn. Coming through. Oh, Jay. And welcome to the Get Against podcast. Sorry to have you here listening to Katt Williams pouring himself some honey wine. We're glad to be back with you guys another week. Here we are again. We're glad to see you guys. And before we get started, we'd like to acknowledge all the forces in the non-material, all the ancestors standing behind this great work, Nebnabla Musamora Dinabig, and all the other ancestors standing behind this great work, your ancestors, our ancestors, for bringing us all together, and for all of us to be here on the same line together, and for you to find yourself here. So, with that being said, we also want to acknowledge all the other forces of nature that are behind this great work and standing behind this great work.
You're good. That's fine. That's fine. Keep going.
Standing behind it, it made it go silent for a second.
Yeah.
I'm like, you good, bro? All the powers of nature that are standing behind this great work, the genies, the deities, everything, Kepta deities, Naba deities, everything. And yeah. So it's been an interesting week, man. It's like looking at how things popped off. We're in 2024. It's fake New Year's. It's the New Year's for everybody else. That's not on the real calendar, the real year. And it's interesting because I think Katt Williams said it all. Because it's January 5th. And he already broke the internet for the year. And he said that it's 2024 and you can't let the losers rewrite history. So we've been doing a series on healing. And we've been doing a series on, everything involving healing, spiritual healing, energetic healing, psychological healing, emotional healing. We've been on it, right? And I realized how important it is for us to really kind of honor the way maybe things are kind of popping off, and really speak truth to power, for lack of a better term, and to be honest, and to keep it real. Like the way some people are putting it is 2024, and they don't want to see, even though it's a fake year. It's the beginning of the fake cycle, but they don't want to see a lot of the nonsense making it into 2024. And I figured, why not honor that, even though it's a fake year, by talking about honesty and talking about being real and talking about truth. Because I think something's being lost. And what I mean by that is I think that people aren't being honest anymore. I think that people aren't being real anymore. And I think that a lot of people are just kind of willing to get by any way that they can and kind of fake it any way that they can in order to not, maybe piss people off or, end up in the doghouse or end up losing, certain, advertisements or, endorsements or whatever they're doing. And it's interesting because I think nobody really kind of respected the way Trump did it, but you have to kind of respect the way Trump really kind of cracked the code a couple years ago, because what he did is he decided, like, you know what, like, everyone knows that politics are a lie. Everyone knows that these so-called institutions that we're all buying into are lies, and why are we still lying about it? And why don't we just be honest and just call it what it is and say that it's corrupt and say that it's this and say that these people are using these loopholes and these people are using those loopholes? Because even it's interesting when you really look at the trajectory of 2024 already, even though it's a fake year, is that they unsealed even the Jeffrey Epstein documents. And they're like, we're going to put those documents out, and we're going to let people know, hey, this is what was going on, and this is who was there, and all this kind of stuff.
When did they do that? I didn't even know they did that.
They did it a couple days ago.
Oh, I'm like, I haven't been on any socials. Really.
Yeah, I mean, we're not exactly, the bastions of keeping up with current events, but they did that. They did that recently. And
Wow.
In the spirit of the way kind of Katt Williams kind of kicked it off, I figured, let's keep it real. And let's be honest.
Oh, now that you mention it, is that why I see memes? Because I went on social media just now.
Mm-hmm.
I saw a meme about Stephen Hawkins. They were like, Stephen Hawkins, the moment he gets to Epstein Island,
he jumps out.
Yeah, he jumps up and then he's I was so confused. Yeah, I was like, what does this mean?
Because apparently he was an associate of Epstein.
Wow.
Yeah.
Stephen Hawkins.
Yeah, bro. I mean, I don't know.
Wow.
I don't know what he was doing. I don't know if he was rolling up in his wheelchair and being like, "Meh, please get me some little girls," or like whatever he was doing. But he was there. Like, we don't know what he was doing, but like, the documents.
Crazy.
The document said he was an associate of Epstein.
That's crazy.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that are on that list that you never would expect. That's the crazy part about it.
Really?
Wow.
Who else is on that list? I didn't know.
To begin with, even the president himself, Barack Obama.
That we knew that.
Yeah, we knew that.
Yeah,
But
we
that's
knew
what I'm
that.
saying.
Yeah, we
like,
knew
that's not something you would normally expect.
Really?
I mean,
I didn't normally expect that. To be honest with you.
Come on, bro.
That
Barack, in the spirit of what Two Teeps is even talking about, right? People like not keeping it real, and people who are giving like false pretenses to have like an image. Like when you looked at Barack Obama, you can tell he was one of those guys. Like there's no way. Come on, bro. Look at the history of
about
this
Chris
country.
Rock?
Look at the history of this country, bro.
Did you expect Chris Rock to be on there?
Chris Rock?
Yeah, because Katt
No.
Williams just mentioned it. So.
Yeah, but is
I
he
mean-
on there though?
Well, I haven't checked the list all the way through, but just some of the significant names that I was able to pick out, I just was like, wow, I just would have never thought.
Chris Rock? I mean, I'm not surprised. I was kind of thinking about it because, like the version of kind of like the so-called Illuminati that they say are for black people is like the
Boule?
yeah, the boule or the bourgeoisie, whatever they call it. And like, yeah, I mean, you got to get down with things in order to, to get things. So I'm not surprised if that's the case because,
Got to get down and get down.
yeah, lay down or, it's lay down or get out.
I mean,
They probably
I
make
said
you lay
house.
down.
Mm-hmm.
I
For
mean,
good.
but just even to stick to the point of what you're bringing, like Katt Williams said it, a lot of people were, taking the shortcut to reach that success.
I
And
mean,
that's why he was taking those shots. So
yeah, I mean, and he was saying, he made it with a virgin butt, and without, it's like, yeah, bro.
You said that?
Bro, he was like, I made it here with the virgin butt
Wow.
and with a
Wow.
without sucking someone's penis,
Wow.
Yeah, he did say
wow. He went that deep. Wow.
bro.
nah, he was taking shots,
Bro,
Well, I
he
gotta
was-
watch
he
this
was taking
interview.
shots.
Bro, he was
Wow.
going in, bro. He was going in. He was talking about just like, I mean, he was essentially talking about like the clicks, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
P.
I think-
Diddy,
Uh-huh,
Pillagate and all that.
Yeah. He was like, Puffy wants to party
Sad.
with you. It was like, and I don't party with Puff. Like, I don't do that, man. And he was talking about like what it means to sign up to party with Puff. And he was like, no, I don't do that. And I think that the problem is that, there's a lot of people that aren't willing to maybe come out and be honest like the way he's being honest, because it's so interesting the way that they do it and the way that they play on people's perceptions, because for the longest, a lot of people think Katt Williams is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And
It's always those crazy ones, right?
the crazy ones. I mean, that's what they do to Kanye.
They
right?
kind of had him running on the streets looking a little crazy. Yeah.
How do you know that was
yeah,
an
how do you
act?
know? Yeah.
I mean, I don't. That's true. I don't. But
Yeah, but I mean, at the end of the day, though, also
They're very good at wielding your perception to something else. You know what I mean? They're masters of illusionists. If I
I
can say.
mean,
So
yeah, they're really good at it. The media is phenomenal at really manipulating people's perspectives into, you know, into believing certain things and looking at people a certain kind of way. So yeah, for sure, that's not surprising. It's just more so like, what's really going on? Because I mean, I think that the curtains are coming down, and people are finding it harder and harder to hide behind the lies. Because then a lot of people that are maybe in the inner circles of these things are coming out and then being honest and exposing things. And I'm all for it. I mean, I consider myself an honest person. I consider myself a very forthcoming person. And it's not easy to be forthcoming, and it's not easy to be honest, because a lot of people don't like when you are honest with them. It's always interesting when you catch people that are willing to be kind of like stewards of honesty or stewards of truth, until that honesty and that truth is now being reflected back to them. Or people are being honest or being truthful with them, and then they're like, I'm not really a fan of truth. And I think that we are in a time period where it's becoming harder and harder for people to stand in the shadows and for people to not be honest. And I think that before everything is all said and done, a lot of the things that are being done in the dark coming out into the surface will be very good, because it will lead to healing. Because the only way you can heal something that is not healing or is not healing properly is to bring it out into the open. So if there's a bone that's not healing properly, you break that bone and you make it heal properly. But the interesting thing is I'm always interested to know why there's such an aversion to honesty, particularly in the West, and why people don't like honesty. Because you're from Africa, I'm from Africa, you're from Jamaica.
The mini Africa.
Huh?
The small Africa.
The small Africa. But,
Africa,
you know, there's a way that you kind of handle people in those kind of countries versus the way you handle people here, where you come with honesty, and that honesty is not shied upon, and everyone's honest. But here, that honesty isn't there. So what is it that you guys think that people tend to take honesty in the wrong ways here?
Well, the thing is with this country that I've noticed, it's like everybody's always on edge in a way, where nobody wants to say anything or do anything wrong because it might cause a trigger in which they are, how would you say, insulting somebody, or they're hurting somebody's feelings, or they're attacking somebody's like perception of self, or their own somebody's self-image, right? And it's just a character. And I think it really is stemming from the deeper systemic issues that we have in this country, because when you look at the history of this country again, it started off of lies to begin with. Like the whole reason for them coming here and like establishing these colonies, saying, oh, hey, we're here to, like, you know, we need help. Going to the natives, acting like they need help, living with the natives for almost 50 plus years, learning everything about the land, learning everything from the natives, and then killing them off.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's like,
Hey.
gotcha, nigga.
Yeah, and then they just
Chopping off heads.
killed everybody and took it. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, to begin with, they already had their own agendas, right? They already had their own self-interest to begin with. So that's like the foundation of this country. So with that being said, it's almost like in this country, people are always trying to colonize, but then at the same time, always trying to not be colonized. Because people here, they want to self-impose how they feel or self-impose what they think on people, but then they don't want to be self-imposed on. It's almost like the same way America goes out and then self-imposes things on other people. But then nobody in America or the government in America would not like it if somebody else came and tried to dictate to them. So it's like that same kind of dualistic relationship where it's like No. I'm the one in charge. I'm the guy. I'm the big one. You're the small one. I can tell you what to do. You can't tell me what to do.
Be honest with you, but don't be honest with me.
Exactly. And people take on that same kind of mentality here. And you see it from very, very young age. That's how it is in the school systems, because they educate you from very young to be like that. That's why they teach you history the way they teach you history, because the history they teach you is even the lie itself. It's not all the way truth. They only teach you small glimpses of truth, but then they have to spin it to make it look like, okay, hey, this is the thing you should champion. This is this country. We're above. Everything else is below. And that's how you're educated here. So if that's the foundation of the education, then the people are going to react that way, because that's their foundation. Now in places like Africa or just the so-called third world, it's a little bit different, because you're more so educated just to get it, how you got to get it, and you're educated to survive. And in that education, you're really educated to be honest with yourself and honest with your situations. But here in America, you can be completely dishonest in a sense where, okay, yeah, you want to get it. You're going to get it, right? But then you feel like you have a self-entitlement to go and get it. Then now, in your mind, you're going to do whatever you need to do to get it, even if it means lying, cheating, and stealing. But in places in the third world, there's consequences for those kind of things. But here, there's rewards for those kind of things.
Yeah, I mean, if I can, I mean, you really broke it down so well. But if I can just add on to that, it's like, I think this society functions on really trying to master pretense. Like everyone's just pretending, right? Pretending like they got it together, pretending like they have it all figured out. And it's like, if everyone is doing that, then no one wants to call anyone out. No one wants to pull that rug off and be like, okay, I gotta expose you, because exposing you means you're gonna expose me. It's kind of like even what, what's his name? The previous president, what's his name?
Trump?
Thank you. Yes.
You can't remember Trump's name?
For some weird reason, I can remember it. But it's kind of like what he did. I think when he was like in the debate, he was pretty much calling out a lot of what the rich people were using to benefit from. And that's essentially what he was doing, was just like calling things out and saying, well, I use the system the same way that you guys use it. And that's why we're getting ahead. But it's like, you doing something like that only opens the way for now everybody to start like calling you out on your own stuff. So if you're not ready to own up to that kind of truth, it becomes very difficult for a society to head in that kind of a direction, versus us being from a different country that comes from culture. Everyone sort of like, they're not going to let you get away with it. If they see you doing something and you're lying about it, and people know you, they're like, why are you lying about that? That's not really what you're doing. That's not really what you've accomplished.
But that's the difference even here, right? Because here, if as an immigrant you come here and you see those kind of things, you notice what it is. It's like, oh, that's how the system works. Okay, cool, let's do it. Let's exploit it. Because even in our countries, it's like, you can see the military walk around with guns. You can see them like, hey, at checkpoints on the street, if they bothering you, just slide them maybe $100 here, and they're like, all right, cool, peace, you're on your way. That's technically honesty, right? Because the honesty in that situation is this: look, I want something, you want something. I need to go, you need to go somewhere, and I need you to get somewhere, but I need to get something from you before you get where you need to go.
And you need me to allow you to pass.
Exactly. So what's the exchange here? That's a very honest situation. Here, the dishonesty is, well, you need to get somewhere, and you can't get anywhere without me. But the thing is, I'm not going to actually allow you to know that I'm the one who's in charge, even though you know I'm the one in charge.
Right.
So I'm going to do all these loops and troops and all this stuff to get the money from you.
AKA easy pass.
Right.
Tolls,
like all these different things, right? That's put in place to take money and energy from you.
Right.
Instead of just being honest and be like, look, nigga, you want to go? Pay up the money.
Right.
The interesting thing is that you guys know that I found this out relatively recently. When we were in California last time, the bridges are privately owned.
I didn't know that.
And the tolls that you pay are to the people that own the bridge.
I'd be fucking down.
Like you don't even pay the toll. Like here, at least it's the government that are regulating it, and then it's like the the Port Authority, right? And then it's like New Jersey, and then it's New York that are benefiting. But in California, depending upon where you are, it's privately owned, which means that the tolls go to someone in particular, and the people that own the bridge.
I could be wrong, but even the Port Authority is probably like
It's probably privately
hired.
owned.
It's private. It's probably just hired,
Of course,
as a pretense to keep, like kind of like security for the actual private company that owns it.
of course.
Because what you can do here is get a contract with the government.
Of
Once
course.
you get a contract with the government, you can do almost anything.
Privatized.
Yeah, you privatize anything. MTA is just a private organization. That's not really a government organization. It's
didn't
all
know that?
privatizing.
No. I'm just processing right now.
You look like you've been deceived or something. Like you're like.
But that's the deception. It's capitalism. It's just capitalism, right? Everybody's trying to capitalize on something and somebody. So capitalism, the way it works is you're trying to capitalize off somebody, so you don't want to be capitalized on. And we function like that because we live in a capitalistic society. But the dishonesty is that you're not even educated per se to know that you're living in a capitalistic society. So they almost educate you like a kind of like a poor class or middle class or slave class. And then there's other different education that certain children who are in certain private schools get. So they get a different education from other kids. So then those children are going to grow up thinking in a way where they're going to capitalize off of the children who didn't receive that kind of education. So then there's another dishonesty there because now we don't realize we're being educated to be fools, basically. And then somebody like Trump comes along and is like, no, look, this is the system. You can do it too.
Right.
Then it's like, whoa, hold on. Don't you dare tell those people they can do it too. Don't you do that.
But it's funny, his whole motto was "Let's make America great again."
Yeah.
That's what
Which
he's
is
talking
interesting.
about.
Yeah, that's what he's talking about. I mean, he's just being honest about the corruption because here, they're not honest about the corruption. Like, it's interesting the amount of immigrants I speak to, and then what they will do is I'll ask them, I'll be like, hey, how do you like it here? And depending upon who you get, you either get someone that falls on, it's normally like polarized. You either get someone that is like, it's great, I love it. Or you get someone that says, I don't like it. And you ask them why. And they say, well, it's not really any culture here. But then, depending upon who you ask, and you say, why do you love it? And they say, well, there's not as much corruption as there is back where I'm from. Because it's like, it's corrupt in wherever I'm from, whether I'm from, whether I'm talking to somebody from Pakistan, I'm talking to somebody from India, whether I'm talking to somebody from South America, they're like, yeah, the corruption's not as rampant. And I find myself kind of chuckling to myself without chuckling in front of them. And I'm like, if you only knew the way it's actually corrupt.
Right.
Because this country is the most corrupt. But what makes it different is the fact that legal, whether something is legal or not,
Right. The pretense on how they mask it, yeah.
is what makes it
Like legitimate theft.
not, which is makes it not, what do you call it? Corrupt.
Corrupt, right.
But the corruption lies in being able to, make it legal.
I think it's safe to say that it's an organized corruption.
Yeah, I mean, who do you think the mob learned it from?
That's a fact.
Like, that's what people don't want to talk about. Is that like, man, if I was in the government, I would be the corrupt. I wouldn't be like, I would not be an honest politician. I would be I'd be like Joe Biden, bro. I would be out here corrupt to every extent and every which way that I could be.
That's the key word though in it, corruption in itself. Because the thing is,
Corruption.
you being here in this country already genuinely makes you corrupt. Because
Of
corruption is just the decaying of the spirit, decaying
That's
of the
actually
soul.
what I was going to say earlier,
So-
even when you were talking about the fact that you also have to somewhat do the same thing in order to get by in this country. But the
Just to get
situation
by.
becomes that you get corrupted by it. You do it long enough, it starts
eating away at you.
It starts eating away at you.
Mm-hmm.
And it becomes like a normal mode of function.
Yeah,
And I
then,
feel like that's what we're suffering from.
I mean,
Just
we're
being-
all suffering from that. But
Yeah.
that's the thing. That's why people in this society find it so hard to actually be honest, because that level of corruption is already eating away at us to the point where we don't even recognize what honesty is anymore.
Right.
Because for us, we're just operating on this mode of just survival, but survival in trying to fit into a system that's already inherently corrupt.
Right.
So then we are making corrupt moves, and then it's not really sitting well with us. We just don't know it. So then that causes like a mental disconnect. Then now when somebody is coming to you and is like pointing something out to you, that's like, no, well, you're doing this, then now you're getting defensive because you have like a cognitive dissonance. That's what it's called, right?
Cognitive.
Cognitive dissonance, yeah. So you're like, no, hell no, how dare you? No, you're doing this. Then it becomes this back and forth thing where nobody actually wants to look at each other and look at what they're doing for themselves.
So let me ask you guys this. What is it that you guys, like, I know none of us can really answer because we're not in those circles, but like, what is it about these like upper echelon of people that they will like want to go have sex with little kids?
I can't even answer that question because I can't even fathom how or
Yeah.
why. That's the thing. I don't understand it.
Yeah.
But again, maybe it's just like if you were in that circle, like again, maybe the corruption touches you some way, somehow. I really don't know.
It's like you want $1 million, but the only way you get $1 million, you gotta have sex with little Susie over there. Like,
I mean, I kind of have a theory.
What's your theory?
My theory is that people that have so much money, it's kind of like they don't have to sit and worry about the things you have to worry about through life. So they get bored. Honestly, they
You
just
get so bored, you just want to touch
You
little
do
girls.
everything, and then it becomes like, okay, well, what have I not done? I haven't raped a child. It's weird, bro. I'm telling you, it's just a theory I had, just based on sitting down and thinking
but
about
honestly, it makes sense because I've thought about it, and I've said to myself,
it. Like,
I
what,
think-
what would possess someone? to
I think it has to do with the fact that people literally run out of experiences.
Yeah.
Because when you have money, like you don't have much to experience. Think about it. Most of our experiences are centered around making money in order to make ends meet.
It's
right?
capitalism.
It's capitalism, right? So remove the person out of the capitalistic environment where they don't have to work and center their experiences around making money in order to make ends meet.
Like
so
they
then,
have residual income inheritance.
I mean, or they're trust fund babies, you know, they have
Right.
like, you know, huge,
Right.
like huge inheritances,
Right.
whatever it is. They don't have to experience that. So the way that they look at life is different.
Yeah.
The way that they process life is different. The way that rich people think is different. The way that a rich person reads the Bible is different from the way a poor person will read the Bible. So then, to me, it makes sense that they would be on some kind of funny shit like that. Because why wouldn't you utilize the commoners for your personal experiences?
Yep.
Why wouldn't you utilize people to do whatever you want to do? But what I find most interesting is why everyone here in America views those people as the same as them. Because rich people don't think like the common person. And rich people don't function like the common person. But what is it about people in America that they will function and think that people that are rich or people that are wealthy or people that have access or people that are celebrities or people that have access at their fingertips and everything at their fingertips, experiences at their fingertips, whatever they want, to the point where you're looking at human beings as cattle, or you're looking at human beings as a commodity. You're looking at human beings as, you know, resources that you can utilize at your disposal. What is it about people that aren't in that position that identify with those people?
Well, it's simple, right? We want to be those people. That's the thing. We want to be those people because to us here, that's the model. That's the model. That's the structure. Because again, going back to capitalism, that's like the height of where capitalism gets you. that's like the secret, or the secret space that you need to get to.
It's
Like
like
that's
the-
the level of
it's the
success.
pinnacle.
Yeah, it's the pinnacle. It's the top of the mountain. So everybody here strives for that. That's why they even call them stars, right? Superstars or whatever. Because those are the things that are shiny. Everybody wants to touch the shiny thing. So now that you want to touch the shiny thing, you want to be like the shiny thing. So you identify as that shiny thing in your own mind. Because now we kind of create our own realities in our minds here based upon what's being dictated to us, or we're influenced by through the media. And that media is very dangerous, because that's what's influencing our minds and kind of creating this kind of like mental retardation nowadays, where people are now not really looking at themselves for who they are or what they are. More so they're looking at themselves for what they're imagining themselves to be, based upon that model that they see the celebrities are providing to them. So now, because that's what we are looking at and saying, oh, that's what I want to be, we even go so far as trying to create an artificial lifestyle on social media platforms to make it seem like we're living that kind of way, to make it seem
Going
like
back
we're
to
living
pretense.
higher. Yeah, it's
Right.
pretense.
Right.
It's just all pretentiousness. That's all it is. So because I identify that way, if I see what's somebody I could see, like Chris Brown, right? I'm a dancer. Chris Brown's a dancer. If I see Chris Brown and he's on stage and he's getting all the girls, and I'm like, oh yeah, I want to be just like that. Now I make my life model what I see on TV, what I see on social media from Chris Brown. Everything I do, I'm going to relate it to him. Everything I do in my mind, I'm being just like him. So now when he does something or a scandal happens where it comes about that he's involved in some shit that I don't like, it destroys me mentally, because in a way I'm like looking at myself.
Right.
So it's destroying my reality, because I've created a false reality for myself.
Well, it
looking
destroys
at
your
that.
ideals, right?
Exactly.
It destroys like whatever your ideal in terms of what you're striving for is.
And then it creates that disconnect again. Then now you get lost, because if that's the reality you've already created for yourself, and then that's destroyed, that's your model, that's your ideals, like that's who you are really. If that's being destroyed, then what?
Right.
Then what? Where do you go there? When do you go down?
Well, what are you going to strive toward?
And I think that's where it's funny, because I noticed with rich people, I remember I was working at Year Up, right? Which was like a program. It's a program for people who want to get into like business and finance. This was like years back. I was like 21 or 22. So they used to bring in millionaires and billionaires to talk to us. So there was a billionaire who came in to talk to us one day. The guy was regular, t-shirt, jeans. Like you looked at him, you wouldn't even tell he's a billionaire. I would never forget he said this. He was like, man, I spend like I think he said like $50 million a year. And he was like, I don't even know what I spend it on. But he gets bored. Like he doesn't know what he wants to do anymore because he's bored, but he spends $50 million a year. And I remember thinking about it and looking at somebody like that. I'm like, okay, these guys usually go one of two ways. They go that route of doing the Epstein thing, or they go that route where they realize this isn't it. This capitalistic lifestyle, this lifestyle or this false reality I've created for myself, this image of myself that I've created that's not actually me, this bubble I've put myself in, this bubble that's giving me all of these problems and all of these issues in my life, mentally, spiritually, is not it. So let me try and find myself. Then that's when you see those people go out and try to seek some form of spirituality. Then that's when you see those people go to Thailand or Tibet or whatever, trying to like find the monks and find like, what do they call it, nirvana and all this kind of stuff. Because now this spiritual aspect is missing, because we're so caught up inside of the materialistic model. Yeah, we're so caught up in the materialistic model. We're so caught up in capitalism. We're so caught up in that fantasy world. We've lost ourselves spiritually. And that's what's really causing a lot of the mental problems that you see in society today, because people don't really know what's real anymore.
Right.
And what's real is now being ripped apart. It's being destroyed and broken in real time.
You know what's interesting is that just even hearing you talk, all I can think about was like hacking. I feel like that's what a lot of the is it okay?
Yeah, it's good. It's good.
Yeah, I feel like that's a lot of what these elites get to a certain point where they just look at society and like look at the situation where like, okay, if we can hack these group of people and then enforce whatever ideals we want on them and then we can control them, that gives them like a sort of a kick, kind of like them being praised or worshipped or some shit like that, right? And it's the same thing trickling down to those who are famous. It's the same thing where they're putting up a facade to hack people's perception in order for them to believe what they're showing them, right? To idolize what they're showing them. And then it trickles down again to the normal day-to-day person where now that same hack is the ideals where they're accepting that. And then it's like the cycle that goes on, which is affecting every single person in every stage. But like no one really has this sense of like identifying that and really seeing that and then overcoming that. You know, because even you talking about something missing, I think that's what it is that like people get to those points, those who are like really, you know, like living through life and trying to figure it out, they get to those points and they're like, this is not it. There has to be more than this.
Don't mind me. Keep going.
You're like a DJ back here.
No, I'm just
Yeah, so, but that's what I actually think it is. It's like, I think the biggest aspect even now that's being discussed is, you know, artificial intelligence. But the main topic of discussion is hacking humans.
That sounds crazy just to even hear you say that.
It's
Hacking
weird, but
humans.
it's always been that though.
I mean, yeah, essentially that's literally what it is, because it's just all perspective. It's like who controls your perspective can control your reality.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day, for a very long time, since colonialism, since the destruction of the Native American cultures here on this soil, the perception of the reality has always been in control of specific groups of people, especially those who are the elites of the society. So it's not surprising to me when you have someone like Katt Williams coming up and talking about what people in the elite circles are doing, because it's not like it's something new. This is something that's been going on for thousands and thousands and thousands of years.
Right.
Like even with slavery, like that all that was human trafficking.
Right.
Now, because we're in this
call it
modern
something
day,
different.
Yeah, they call it something different, but it's just human trafficking.
Right.
That's a known human trafficking story, but it's still happening till this day, probably on a larger mass scale, because now we have even more access to technology that allows us to even transport more people.
Yep.
Like, and I don't know if you've ever like really seen like an actual slave ship. Those things were huge.
Right.
I think people don't understand that those things were huge.
And it's
Like,
the same. They stacked people like as if they
Yeah.
were like bottles or
to the
some
point,
shit.
like the old ones, like the ones that you can't find, the ones
Right.
that didn't sink, all they did was convert them into cargo ships. People don't know that.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
That's
they
wild.
converted them into cargo ships. So what do you think they're putting on the cargo now? Like, people used to be called contraband. You know that? Now drugs is called contraband. It's just the shipment of goods, the shipment of narcotics, the shipment of, tools, things that are used to suit people's, vices. And it's no different than it was back then as it is today. But the difference now is just our perception of it has completely altered and changed.
Right.
Just as maybe back then, the perception of it back then was a little bit different too. You think back then people knew it was necessarily like what it was going to be? No, they were just participating in the norms, the cultural norms of the elitists of that time. And it's no different. Now it's just we're able to control people's perception of the reality on a much further reach now with the access of social media,
Right.
with the access of cell phones, with the access of TV and radio. Before it was just a Bible. Before it was just a book. Before it was just a man in a white dress talking about he's a preacher in a village,
Right.
converting people. But now it's
still have
much bigger
those.
than that. We still have that, but now we can have that and film it.
Right. That's true. Yeah, I mean,
Is the audio okay now?
No, yeah, the audio's fine. It's just that it's just running into some different feedback on the audio. But anyway, yeah, I mean the interesting thing is the fact that now that we look at things so differently, like they're just such a weird disconnect into thinking that we've like evolved past what we claim to have evolved, like where we have been, because slavery's still going on, but now it's just called human trafficking, and now they hide it.
Mm-hmm.
And then the corruption is still around, but they just call it something different now. Now it's just about what's legal and not legal.
Mm-hmm.
And what I find so interesting is the fact that we will sit around and act like we're evolving as a species or evolving as human beings when we're not evolving, bro. Like, we still do horrors and atrocities in the name of things that we claim to be good all the time. Mm-hmm. We still do evils and horrors all the time, and we do it under the banner of certain things. And we totally act like, hey, you know what, like this is not a problem, or this is fine, or this is good. And it's so interesting to me because it seems like everyone is under this kind of like malaise or kind of like this funk where they can't see or understand the fact that these things are going on. Mm-hmm. And they won't admit it, and they won't come to terms with it, or they won't say it, or they won't do this, or they won't do that, because in order to even speak against the powers that be or the system mm-hmm. would be to like call your life a lie. Because
well, it is.
You're right.
It is a lie.
Mm-hmm.
But they don't want to admit
think that
that
people
it's a lie.
just don't care if it doesn't touch them because they like the comforts that it offers them.
I don't know though, because would people say the same if it was their child?
Probably not, but it's not. I think a lot of people will ride on that. Like, I speak to a lot of Africans that live here now who've, you know, developed themselves into this society, and they don't want to go back. Going back is not even a reality to them. They like the comfortable life that America's offered them. You know, mm-hmm. They don't want to talk about these conspiracy theories. It's like if you even start talking about it, they just start shaming you. Like, you're just being ungrateful.
You're crazy.
Yeah. It's like, look at all the good things that are happening for you, and then you want to bring problems.
It depends.
My aunt called me a madman.
Yeah. You know, like, but I'm not saying.
What were you saying? In her defense, you were probably saying some crazy shit.
Nah, I swear it wasn't even that crazy. Because I don't even remember exactly what I said, but I think we were talking about healing. Mm-hmm. Because she came in and she had like these health problems. And then I said something simple. I was like, you know, when you guys left Jamaica, you didn't have any of these problems. And you guys were drinking these herbs every single day. And now you come here, you have all of these problems. You don't think that it like the doctors is also causing the problems? You don't think it makes more sense to do this and do this and do this? And then she looked at me and called me a madman.
Yeah, because they swear by the educational system. They swear by it. But that's not to veer off from, you know, the original thing you're bringing up. But like, people don't care if it doesn't touch them, bro. Yeah, most people are like that. They just don't care.
I mean, I think the difference between maybe talking to an African about it is that they're like, I'm not here for that. Right. They're like, I don't really care about that because it's like, that's not my problem.
They just came to get what they came to
get.
Like,
I just came to get what I needed to get, and then depending upon who you are, you're like, hey, man, I'm out of here, and I'm out. And I'm just going to go do what I need to do. I'm going to come get what I need to get and then go about my business.
Right.
Whereas at here, when you talk to the people here, it's like, this is supposed to be home for a lot of people. This is supposed to be like your stomping grounds for a lot of people.
Right.
And then you talk to those people about it, or you try and tell those people about it, and then they're like, no.
It's the greatest place on earth.
What are you talking about?
Right.
And they're like, yeah, it is what it is. But you said it to somebody that's not from here, yeah, of course they're going to be like, whatever, man, who gives a shit? Just be grateful that you're here, and just get what you need to get and go about your business and then keep it moving.
Right. Right. I mean, I guess it's different for people that are here. But even then, it's like, if it doesn't touch you, you don't really care about it. And
Yeah.
the narrative that's also given to you is that, you know, your country has to go do this in order for your freedoms to be protected, which has never made sense.
I think the issue really with people here or people born here or people who consider this home, even people who might not even be born here but might be from somewhere else, but still consider this home to the point where they would even say they would never go back to where they came from, or people who have even like stayed here for generations and would not even want to find where they came from. I think the problem really is the fact that they've already been sold the lie. They've already bought into like the perception of like what this place is, to the point where you tell them what's going on, you tell them what America really does, you tell them what this social media does to them mentally, you tell them what just living here does to them energetically, spiritually, with their health, everything. All that they hear is that this is the greatest place on earth, and if I can just do this, we can make it better.
Yeah.
We can make
It's
this
true.
place better. We can make it do better. That's why when you see a lot of people protesting, you see a lot of people in the streets like fighting for whatever ideologies or rights they're fighting for. They're not really saying that the system is corrupt, the system needs to change. All they're saying is treat me better, or hey, this needs to be better. So that we can be, so this can be what I think it is, or this can be what I want it to be. Not it is what it is. Now that's where the real dishonesty comes from, because people are not even willing to look at what the situation is that they
Right.
actually find themselves in. So if you're not willing to look at the situation for what it is, anything you do at that point is going to automatically be dishonest.
I mean, the difficult part is that there's a lot of people that don't seem to be kind of open to the fact that they've been living a lie, because then they have to kind of come to terms with the fact that now you have to unravel that lie, and now you have to do something different. And people don't want to do that. People don't want to change, and people don't want to unravel those lies, because in order to unravel them, it means you have to change everything about your life and everything that you've been doing. And nobody wants to do that, if we're being honest. I don't want to do that. I don't think anybody... Do you want to do that?
We're kind of doing
Huh? I mean, yeah, it's different because we're doing it. But
Right.
do you want to do that?
I mean, honestly speaking, nobody wants to.
No one.
No one does. Even if we
But it's what we need to do.
say we're doing it, right?
Right.
It's like we're saying that because we understand that there's a necessity. We understand that there's like something higher, there's something different. We understand that we don't want our descendants to be living in this any longer.
Yep.
We understand that we don't want our descendants to have that same mental confusion or that mental destruction.
Retardation, yeah.
Retardation in their minds anymore. We
Yeah.
don't want them to go through the same things we went through. So we're looking at it from a different angle and different perspective. But again, it all started with the fact that we had to recognize first that there's something off with my environment.
Yep.
So what is it in the environment that is off, and how am I contributing to it? And then what can I do to change it? How do I focus on myself to do that? Which is different than somebody who is just like, sees the corruption, is like, oh, okay, yeah, oh, turn your other cheek, nigga. I ain't see shit. I ain't got nothing to do with me.
Right.
I'm gonna keep it moving. I'm gonna just be here. This is my home. Y'all ain't gonna say nothing about nothing.
Right.
We gonna keep doing what we gotta do, baby. That's it. It's different. It's completely different. So, you can't really look at it from that angle as like, where we want to, per se. It's just that we recognize that it's a necessity. And I think that's the point that most people have not reached, or people are not willing to get to, as Tutipsa said. Because
Right.
you're not willing to look at the reality of the situation.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, though, it's not like there's a lot of systems in place to even help you see where to begin. You know what I mean? Like, those things are very either like hidden or very difficult to get to, because even a lot of people have to sift through so many different conspiracy theories or reading this and reading that just to get to, a level where they can understand, okay, like there's a place that I can actually go to work on myself. You know what I mean?
You never
So-
know what's real.
Yeah, you never know what's real. Like, I mean, for a lot of even the friends that I had who I started sort of my journey with, most of them have given up because they're like, everything is fake. Everything is a lie. we're not going to find anything that's actually true. So might as well just go out and figure out our own way of doing things. And I was actually on that train, to be honest. So, you know.
Still are.
But like I said, you know, like.
In the spirit of honesty.
I can argue for myself. But anyway, that's the whole point, is like, you know, it's difficult. It's difficult. Not everyone can get to that point because there's really not a clear laid out direction for them to even.
And what's the alternative? People don't have real alternative. That's a problem. Is people don't think about, like, because I was thinking about this the other day. I was like, this country's going to shit. And then I was like, but
in real time.
In real time. And then I was like, what am I going to do? And I was like, well, I'm out of here. Like, I'm not staying here. And I was like, I'm out of here. In what way, though? I was like, I have a home, and the home is Africa, and I'm going home.
Mm-hmm.
I'm already in the process of going home. And then I'm like, I'm not staying here, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Like, with everything that's popping off and the way everything is going, like, now I'm looking at this place completely different, and I'm being honest about the fact that this is a sinking ship.
Mm.
And because this is a sinking ship, then why would you want to try and set up shop in a sinking ship? It doesn't make sense.
The perception of
Logically,
it,
it doesn't.
it's a sinking ship, but the perception of it is like, this is the place. This is the ship.
Yeah, but even it doesn't matter.
And
If
it's
you're
sailing
in a burning,
to
if you're in a
Nirvana.
burning building and you don't think you're capable of being burned by the flames, it doesn't change the fact that you're in a burning building.
But that's the thing, though. You're always going to have those people in the burning building. Oh, I need this. I need to grab that. I need to grab this before I run out of here. You know
Bro,
what I mean?
there's only like, nah. Like, it's a wrap. It's a wrap, bro. No.
You ever
Those
seen?
people are stupid.
You ever seen what's that movie with Jack Nicholson? That's his name, right? Nicolas Cage.
I don't. Yeah.
Where
Those are two wildly different people.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know their names, but Nicolas Cage, that's his name. That's his name. The guy who plays Ghost Rider.
Yeah,
Nicolas Cage.
Yeah. So you ever seen that movie where the world was ending?
Next.
No.
No, you never seen that where the world was ending?
I don't really like
crashed?
Nicolas Cage.
Really?
Yeah.
He's not a good actor to you?
Nicolas Cage?
Yeah.
No, bro.
I mean, you're talking to
you're right. Okay.
somebody
all right.
who's in
That's
the-
your
who was
area of
in there.
expertise.
No,
So-
bro.
Okay,
No
alright.
He has his
one.
own-
No one
Okay.
messes with Nicolas Cage like that unless it's a joke, bro.
Okay, whatever. I mean, I thought
mean, we
Ghost
grew
Rider
up-
was
Shawnee,
okay.
are you a Nicolas Cage fan?
Listen, we grew up watching his movies in
I
Africa.
used to like him, but now
and
no.
he was propped up to be something that
He kind of was like in my
not
mind.
gonna
See,
lie.
this is where
I enjoyed his movies.
perception is reality
Nicolas
at this
Cage.
point.
Nicolas
Perception is
Cage,
reality
yes.
at this point because I thought he was a very famous and well-renowned actor.
I mean, he's been in so many movies. It's
He's been in
ridiculous.
so
He
many
is.
movies.
No one's saying he's not.
So the perception is he must be a good actor then.
Okay, what's the
You
movie?
see what I'm saying?
What's the movie?
He
then?
used to be good. Let's get back to the topic.
Yeah, what's the movie?
Anyway,
Yeah.
I think I was just saying, bringing up the fact that in that movie where the world was ending, like people were like, they know that the sun is about to crash into the planet. People were stealing
Armageddon.
stuff.
You talking about Armageddon?
No, it's called
Nah,
something
it's
else.
Armageddon?
The knowing or something like that. The knowing. Yeah, the knowing.
Armageddon.
I'm
But-
African.
Is
What
the
do you
one
want?
said Armageddon?
What do you want?
I thought you were saying like, oh, Armageddon,
No.
but you said, oh, Armageddon.
But anyway, in that movie, the world was ending.
I think we should name the episode
Armageddon.
the Armageddon episode. Okay, keep going.
No, I was just saying that in that movie, the world is ending. The sun is about to hit and crash into the earth, and with a solar flare, and people were robbing and stealing stuff. So that right there, right in that movie, that's already programming. Like
Right,
you said,
right.
hacking the human brain.
Right.
Like people see stuff like that, and they don't even know that subconsciously or subliminally they enact those things. They act those things out.
Yep.
So now when you see, like I remember this clear as day. Like there was this time in Brooklyn, I forgot what year it was, but they killed Kiki. It was this kid named Kiki, right? This kid we grew up with. And I don't know how this didn't make the news actually, because it was pretty big. So the cops killed Kiki, and then for like a week straight, in Flatbush, it was just chaos. I mean, like it was straight anarchy.
Who's Kiki?
You're not gonna know
He
him.
said somebody that.
He's somebody we grew up with, but you're not gonna know him. But for some reason, it didn't make the news like a lot of these other stuff. Which this is how I know that they handpick what goes on the news,
Right.
Because that situation was crazy, and I know because I was in it.
Mm-hmm.
So for like a week straight, it was like anarchy outside, straight up anarchy. I mean, they had tanks out there. They had
Tanks?
cops on. Yeah, it was bad. They had cops on horseback. Like, like I saw the military. Like it was bad. Like it was bad. It was
that
really
didn't
bad.
make it on the news.
That didn't make it on the
That's
news.
wild.
And this was in Flatbush. They didn't make it on
Where's
the news.
Flatbush, New York?
Yeah, in Brooklyn.
Oh, wow.
They didn't make it on the news. But bro, to the point where I was out there and I'm just looking around, all of my friends, like I'm like, yo, I thought we was out here for Kiki. All these niggas was stealing shit.
I don't blame them.
That's terrible.
I'm like, yo, we not out here for Kiki, bro?
That's terrible.
No,
Like, what are
you
we
were the only
doing?
person out there for Kiki. Everybody else was out there trying to get what they were trying to get. You're the only
that's
idiot
the
out there for
mentality,
Kiki.
though.
Exactly.
That's the mentality.
That's the mentality.
It is.
No,
It's
bro.
like-
If everybody starts rioting, like, first and foremost, let me not say that on air, but if everybody starts rioting, then you got to pick your position, man. Pick your position.
But I think the perception is that people always have this thing that it's gonna pass, and I rather have the things I don't have so that I can be in a better position for myself.
But that's the dishonesty
But it's
in it.
so
But
short-sighted.
see, that's the dishonesty right there. You just said it. Because if you know it's going to pass, then you know what you're doing doesn't make a difference.
Exactly.
It's just an emotional thing. And that's the problem. Like people in this society, specifically in the West, we're either so emotionally charged or we're just completely out of touch with reality because our perception is completely controlled by the media. It's completely controlled by those who are the so-called elite of the game. Like we don't even know what's really going on anymore. Either we're being too emotional or we're just too distracted.
Right.
And we're going to keep being distracted because that's the name of the game, man. But I want to get into some of these questions because I know there's a lot. Shout out to Chem Warrior Zulbukande. What does that mean, by the way?
Bukande?
Warrior Zulbukande. Like, what is that? Can you explain that to us, Warrior Zulbukande, please? And his first question, because there's a few in here.
Yo, they started putting questions up immediately.
Yeah, I know. It's
That's
good.
like from the start of the show.
It's good. Warrior Zulbukande said, what would be an action to take to get the attention of a god or powerful being? And has anyone taken that route in history? I'm not going to answer that question because it sounds like you're trying to do something diabolical. And until I know what you're trying to do, Warrior Zulbukande, I'm not answering that question. Matthew Ruta, shout out to Matthew Ruta, is how did the first spirits, aka the first couples, manifest when they were created? I don't know what you're asking. I know that you probably just recently got some things in initiation, and then now you're kind of thinking about them, and then you have questions. So I'm going to have to pass on that one. I'm gonna have to plead the fifth. Where did those ancestral spirits come from when they were created? And where did Heru's spirit come from if both his parents were still alive? Good questions, Matthew Ruta, but again, you got to save it for the initiation, man. I'm not gonna answer those questions here. Words of Bukande, back to you. If certain gods or goddesses are not active in the human daily life, are they worthy to be worshipped? I mean, it depends on what you consider necessary in your life, because they exist with or without you, and they're doing fine with or without you. So it's more that you need something from them. They don't need anything from you per se. It's a relationship where if you don't show your value and you don't really show yourself as worthy, or you don't show yourself, as kind of doing something that they might recognize, then they're not going to pay attention to you next to the other human next to you. So it's on you. It's not about you putting something on them, if that makes sense. Matthew Ruta, can we clarify the difference between honesty and secrecy? I don't understand what you mean by that. Do you guys get that question? The difference between honesty and secrecy?
Wait, let me read his question. Different honesty and secrecy. I think.
No,
I
it
mean-
says honesty and secrecy.
I mean,
Difference between honesty.
if I understand what he's trying to ask, because I think he's saying that, okay, there's a level of secrecy that one has to keep when one has like certain amount of knowledge, I guess, or when one is privy to certain things. But then there's honesty, which is like saying what you need to say or saying things that are correct. But I think that's a kind of also like a misunderstanding of honesty as well. Honesty just means being true to what the situation is, if I'm gonna say it like that. Meaning, if I know that I'm dealing with a liar and that the liar is only going to lie no matter what I say and what I do, I'm going to interact with that liar with lies. That's just me being honest about the situation.
And dealing with a liar.
Right. And now
You're recognizing who you're talking to.
right. Now, secrecy is just keeping what is sacred, if that makes sense. Next question.
Yeah, I hope that helps, Matt, because I don't know. I don't know what you're asking there. But Warriors of Wakanda, it's like you and Matthew Ruta having like a cipher. Because it's like you ask one and then Matthew ask one. And then like you guys are like, no, I will not be outdone. It's great though. Just kidding. Keep asking questions. The wisdom keepers and the traditional community in Africa seems relaxed and chill about current events taking place in the world. Do they know something that we don't? Are all the current Kemetic culture throughout the continent of Africa united and in harmony with each other? The thing is that the reason why nobody really seems bothered by what's going on in the world is because when you're rooted in nature, then anything that comes to challenge you, you know that nothing will trump nature. No pun intended. So what I'm saying is this, is that like the reason why people are unbothered by whatever conspiracy theories everyone starts getting kind of freaked out about, or everyone starts talking about, and everyone starts, getting all like in an uproar about, is the fact that you're already rooted in nature. It doesn't matter what's coming to try and test you, whatever man-made problems are there. Because if you know you're in harmony with nature, then you don't have anything to worry about coming to destroy you. So that's why they're chill about all of those things. I don't know if you guys have anything you want to add. I guess not. So, yes, the Kemetic culture throughout the continent of Africa is yes, it's, I don't want to say it's united or in harmony with each other, but there's certain networks that all work together.
Like, if I may add too, it's like the perception where a lot of people think there's a natural disaster. Like, people that are rooted in nature don't really see that. That's not considered natural disaster. That's just nature taking whatever actions it needs to take in order to reshape or rebalance certain things that are not in harmony. So, but people who can recognize those forces and those energies, when they align themselves with that, they just know when to move. They know when to do certain things in order for them to remain rooted and in balance and in harmony with nature. That's the only thing I can add to that. But our perception of things is different because those of us who live in a society like this, that's consistently trying to remove ourselves from nature, then when we see things like that happening, we call it natural disaster because it's coming to affect our plans. But that's completely removing us from what we're supposed to be fitting in and what we're depending on.
Long story short, yes, they know something we don't. And are they united in harmony? I would say if you think of trees and plants, like if you look at nature, think of trees and plants, they all at some point they might seem separate or they might be different, but at the very root, their roots are all dug into the earth. So there's always a connection. So there's something to think about there.
Yep. And the next question is, do we call out? Oh no, wait. How do we know when to be honest and when to maintain secrecy? To quote Interstellar, absolute honesty isn't always the most diplomatic nor the safest form of communication with emotional beings.
That is very true.
It is true, and I love that movie. First and foremost, shout out to Interstellar. That is
a good movie.
It's a good movie.
Never seen it.
You never seen it? It's basically about ancestors.
Really?
You take out the part about
It
space.
sounds like that.
Space traveling and all that.
Interstellar.
You take out the part about space, and it's about the way ancestors work.
I want to watch it. I'm gonna watch it tonight.
Like
That
if
was
you
good.
if you remove the space aspect,
It's true.
it's about ancestors.
Okay, I'm watching.
Like if you
That's
just
without
take
ruining anything
Yeah,
about the movie.
that's without just take out the space aspect. Ancestors. That's the way it works. It's about like the fourth dimension and how.
Don't
I
ruin it.
don't give
I know,
away.
don't ruin it. Just
It's
go
good.
watch
It's
it.
good.
I'll
It's
watch
good.
it. I'll watch it.
But what was I gonna say? Look. Sometimes you have to be willing to kind of call a cat, and sometimes you need to be diplomatic, but sometimes you just gotta say it. And there's no nice way to tell someone that they've been living a lie. So you gotta pick and choose when to be honest. Sometimes you gotta know when to rub butter on people's back, and sometimes you gotta know when to slap them upside the head. But it just depends on on the situation, what the situation calls for, and how you gotta do it, man. Like it's not that simple to just want to just always want to rub butter on somebody's back, or always want to be honest, or always want to be just direct in someone's face. So it depends.
It's like
you have to be intelligent about it.
Yeah, it's like cooking. It's like when I'm cooking, the oil is hot. I don't want to add water, but if I add some wine and I add some fire, then it might make the meat taste good. Just depends on the situation.
Yes, it does. And then the question is from Matthew Ruta again: do we call out corruption, focus on our own corruption, or both? And how do we maintain our honor in situations where no one is being honorable? Get out of that situation. If you're in a situation where no one is being honorable, just keep being honorable and keep doing what you're doing, but then also do your best to remove yourself from that situation. Think about where you are and what's going on, and then get out of there. And then also, maintain your honor, because honor has to do more with you than it has to do with somebody else. So don't lower yourself just because everybody else is lowering themselves. It's not worth it at the end of the day. Is this a level of corruption and abomination even human? I don't know what you're talking about.
So I think he's talking about the touching little girls.
The elite and their weird things. No, that's not human. It's very unbecoming of a human, but it's very indicative of being a human being. Dun dun dun. But you can't really fight or defend people who were born and groomed in corrupted system.
I think that was more of a comment than a question.
Yeah.
But I mean, he has question marks at the end. So.
Yeah, I guess. Yes, Kim Warrior. What is your opinion about supposed UFO or alien encounters in the Miami Mall?
I just saw that.
I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about.
I just saw that video.
Was there actual videos?
That's the video
of it?
I just sent you, and I told you to check.
So there was a footage of an alien?
No, there wasn't a footage of alien. There was just a report of tall people, like extremely tall people, attacking people. But then the police showed up and said that they were really there because of people who were robbing, or no, it was like teenagers fighting. Sorry.
Is it the?
They were on stilts.
But it was like ridiculous amount of police officers.
They were on stilts,
helicopters.
I'm telling you.
So I don't know.
We use stilts back home. I know. So that's.
What's that guy that plays for the Spurs? Victor Wembanyama? Was it him? He's like 7'4" or something like that.
No, they were talking about these things were like 10 feet tall and stuff. It's weird. I don't know.
Whatever. I don't know.
I don't know what
guess
kind of
I don't know
human that
words
is.
of Wakanda. I can't help you, man. Any date for upcoming initiation yet? KC Global. Not yet, but it'll probably be happening in the springtime. I would say, keep your ear to the streets and stay in the loop of everything that we're doing, and it'll be sometime in the spring. Before we get into rapid fire, I just want to
Yeah, and if you follow the social medias, we're always posting early to let people know as well.
exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And let me get
Just subscribe.
yeah, make sure you subscribe, like, comment, and all of those wonderful things. And so Sauce Hot Sauce began in 2007 when a small group of students traveling in West Africa were trying to think of ways to support charitable projects. One of the students traveling happened to be an artisanal hot sauce chef, and right there, Sauce Hot Sauce was born. Since then, Sauce Hot Sauce has prided itself on making exceptional artisan hot sauces with high-quality ingredients to support good causes. We continue to do this with the best and tastiest offering of sauce flavors to date, with a focus on supporting displaced families in the Fada and Godoma region of Burkina Faso with the revenue from our sales. Get yourself some sauce, man. Get you some. It's
Did we
good.
skip over the rapid fire or no?
Rapid fire's after this.
Oh, I see.
Should have made him read it.
I know, right? So there's a new question from Leon Lieberman. Is this you, Matthew Ruta, under like a fake name?
Why would you say that?
Because it's Lieberman.
Oh, man.
Like whoever, unless that's like a real person. I don't know. Is that like a real name just because of?
Yeah, he said Ujay Hudson. So.
Maybe it's just Matthew covering his tracks, but like responding to his own comment. Matthew, is that you, or is Leon Lieberman a real person? But how do we judge without risking misjudging or judging hastily? You got to take your time and wait, man. You got to take your time and wait, and you got to let situations unfold. Like, it's a real person. Matthew's saying it's a real person from Toronto. But you got to take your time and wait, and you got to really kind of, let situations unfold. Oh, he said, I'm a real person. I'm a real boy. But, so...
I just heard that in the LGBT video, like, because I saw an LGBT person video today where they was talking about the different things that they are. When you said that, I saw their face.
You're funny.
But yeah. So yeah, you gotta let situations unfold. Like you can't just let situations. You can't just go off your first take on a situation. You gotta let things, play out, and then as they play out, you get more context and you get more information as to the sequence of events that are unfolding. And as the sequence of events unfold, then you're able to really kind of, make a more measured and strategic, I don't want to say judgment or analysis of what's happening. So you got to take your time, man. You got to take your time. You really got to watch, and you got to let things play out. You can't just hastily make decisions. You got to watch, and then as you watch, things will inform and let you know how things need to go. And with that being said, let's go down to Rapid Fire Town.
Is my mic on, sir?
It is now. The mic is on now, sir.
Thank you very much. Okay, so first up on Rapid Fire, you guys already jumped the gun and went into this one, but Katt Williams drops a bomb on Hollywood comedians. So on
Shout out to
January
Katt
3rd,
Williams.
huh?
Shout out to Katt Williams.
Shout out to Katt.
Yeah, shout out to Kat.
On January 3rd, the internet was stopped in its tracks as Katt Williams sat down for an interview with ESPN First Take correspondent Shannon Sharp on his podcast, Club Shay Shay.
A shout out to Shannon Sharp, too.
And quote, "The reason I had come is because you made a safe place for the truth to be told," Williams said at the top of the interview. "And I've watched all of these lowbrow comedians come here and disrespect you in the face and tell you straight up lies." Was he there to quote unquote set the record straight? Sharp asked in reply. Apparently so. Over the course of the interview, Williams makes outrageous claims. He said Harvey Weinstein offered to quote, and I quote, suck my penis in front of all my people at my agency. Then he airs out some personal
You
grievances.
need to watch this interview. You heard that properly, bro.
That's exactly
Harvey
what he said.
Weinstein.
Yep.
You heard that
He
properly.
aired out some personal grievances with a half a dozen or so comedians, such as Cedric the Entertainer, who allegedly stole one of his jokes, and Michael Blackson, a comedian who doesn't get booed enough by
Michael
Katt
Blackson,
Williams.
Bro, he Faison Love, Michael
Yep.
Blackson,
He
Steve
goes,
Harvey, Cedric the Entertainer, Ludacris, Chris Tucker.
Tucker,
Yeah,
yeah.
not Chris Rock. Chris Tucker.
Yeah, not Chris Rock. Chris Tucker.
He went deep into the production of Friday After Next and how he really wrote all of his
Tavis
parts
Smiley.
for,
Not Charles Smiley. Ricky Smiley.
what's the guy's name? Money Mike. He
Yep.
said he basically came up with the whole character. He was the reason why Bishop Don Juan was in the movie, because they were just gonna put some random dude in there. So yeah, and he also dismissed some rumors about his personal life. In a comment about Kevin Hart, he says, "No one in Hollywood has a memory of a sold-out Kevin Hart show. There ever being a line for him, or him ever getting a standing ovation at any comedy club. He already had his deals when he got here. Have we heard of a comedian that came to LA, and in his first year in LA, he had his own sitcom on network television and had his own film called Soul Plane that he was already leading? No. What do you think a plant is?"
Wow.
Bro,
Wow.
I think so. I've been watching that interview. I got like 40 minutes left
Wow.
because it's like a 3-hour interview. So I've been watching it
Yeah, I
over the
haven't
course
watched
of
the whole
like
thing
days.
either.
Yeah.
I think
I can't
we
sit
left a
down for
lot
3
on the
hours.
table. If you were saying we jumped the gun, because he talked about how you get money by selling your soul in Hollywood, and the way you get money is they even set you up with certain things, and like you do rituals. Like he was talking about human sacrifices.
Oh, he went
Yeah,
there.
he was going in.
He went there.
No, no,
He
was
went
going
in,
on
bro.
time.
He was talking
Wow.
about human sacrifices. He was talking about how, they set you up with like, how basically like Ludacris took the deal, and how Ludacris took a deal with like the Illuminati, and how he got set up with like how they gave him a string of movies if he did certain things, and then he got it. And he was saying, like, in order to get a lot of those things, you gotta get your booty hole poked, or you gotta let them poke your mouth with a penis. And bro, he was speaking truth to power, man. And he a lot of things he was saying, man. He had receipts.
Dun, dun, dun. You know that.
He was also saying that the whole point is that they're very good at showing you a face that they have not sold their soul.
They said the number one job of somebody in Hollywood that sold their soul is to act like you haven't sold your soul.
That's exactly what he said.
I mean,
actually.
they're actors.
Yep.
Yeah.
They're all actors. But that scene in Friday where what's his name?
He got out of jail and he was
he
trying
got
to
out of
rape
jail,
him,
trying to rape him, and he
I think he
clapped
even
him.
talked
He was
about
like,
it.
"No,
Yeah.
He did.
no, I'm a boy. I'm a boy."
He said that's the only reason. He said that was
But
the
he
only
was
reason
actually
he
gonna
took
get
the
raped
movie,
in the
because
movie.
he was supposed to get raped
Oh, yeah.
in the movie. But he said, "I'm not doing that. I'll still do the movie, but only if this part, the character doesn't get raped."
That's
Yeah.
wild.
Yeah, man, I'm telling you, he went in. You gotta watch the interview.
Wow.
He dropped so many bombs and so many gems, and then like, depending upon who you are, you're not gonna be able to catch it.
Wow.
But if you catch a lot of it, man, he very articulate, man, very intelligent, very informed, very well rounded in terms of the way he's talking about things, and I'm like, hey, man,
Shouldn't have
it's
messed
a new
with
day. So what?
Shouldn't have messed with Katt.
Yeah, I don't know who pissed him off.
Yeah.
But whoever pissed him off, man, he came out guns blazing. He was like 2024, and man, he's talking a lot of shit. He's talking a lot of shit.
He kept on saying
And yeah.
everything's gonna get exposed
Yeah,
in
and he's like
2024.
enough is enough, man. And he's like, he was like, real winners don't let losers rewrite history, and that's true. Shout out to all the losers out there.
Loser.
Yeah. I know a lot of losers that try and rewrite history, so shout out to all my losers out there.
Big up to Katt
Yeah.
Williams.
Tired of seeing me winning.
Next up,
Loser.
we got cyber kidnapping. Be on the lookout for cyber kidnapping.
What in
So-
the hell?
Right. What is
How
that?
did what?
Exactly. Thank you.
That kinda
So,
takes me
a
back to that
Chinese
movie.
exchange student who fell victim to a cyber kidnapping scam in which his parents were extorted for $80,000 was
80,000
found
US?
80,000 USD was found alive but quote unquote cold and scared in a tent in the Utah wilderness, the police in Utah have said. Kai Zhuang, 17 years old, was reported missing on Thursday after his parents in China told officials at his host high school in Riverdale, Utah, that he appeared to have been kidnapped and a ransom had been demanded. The case followed a typical pattern for cyber kidnapping, in which kidnappers, quote unquote kidnappers, tell a victim to isolate and provide pictures as if being held captive. Photos that are then sent to the victim's family to extort a payment. The victims comply under the belief their family will otherwise be harmed. After analyzing bank records, purchases, and phone data in a days-long search, police became convinced somehow that he was isolating in a tent about 25 miles north in a large area near Brigham City. Another woman by the name of Jennifer DiStefano was scammed earlier in the year, with scammers using AI to reproduce her daughter's voice and act like she had been kidnapped.
Yeah, that's been happening a lot. Have you guys been getting those calls where like you pick up and no one's saying anything?
I don't
And then
pick
the
up my
moment you
phone.
say hello.
No, I don't pick
I don't
up.
pick up my phone.
I don't pick up numbers that I don't know.
Yeah. Well,
You do?
You want to get me? You gotta message me. I don't
yeah,
pick up my
because
phone.
I have other things that I'm working on, so I have to pick up calls.
I don't pick up numbers I don't know, man. Nope, not me.
But
Not
this
today.
kind of reminds me of the situation that's been happening apparently for years now.
Idiots.
No, people who are leaving
I'm
the
still
country.
confused a little bit.
Hold on, people who are leaving
Just
the
some
country.
idiots, bro.
Like, let's say you're trying to leave some part of Africa
Mhm.
to somehow seek asylum to go to another country. So there'll be these group of people who can promise you that they can get you across borders or anything like that. And then once you get on the truck, they take you, and then they take you off course, and then they'll put you in a bush, and then they'll like confiscate all your phone numbers, everything. And they'll call your family, and they'll be like, "Hey, we have this person. If you don't if you don't give us this amount of money, then we're gonna kill him."
That sounds like a stupid hustle. And I'm gonna tell
It
you
is,
why.
but it's been happening for years apparently. Hold on, let me tell you. So then, if the family's not able to provide that monetary fund, then what ends up happening is they sell these people to like organ donating. So they're transported all the way through Egypt, and then they would cut them open, and then they would sell their organs in Saudi Arabia and everything like that, and then they'll leave their bodies in the desert, like alive. Like even CNN covered this shit.
God damn.
No, it's pretty deep. It's been happening for years apparently.
So
How do you know?
the only reason
Because I
why
looked it up.
the only reason why that's stupid, the
And it
organ,
also happened to one of our family friends.
Damn.
the
yeah.
only reason why that's stupid, the organ thing is, I get it. Organs are worth a lot of money, especially if it's organs from people who are from the equator.
Yep.
That's worth a lot of money. But the stupid part is like, why would you do that with somebody who you know is not gonna be able to pay? Like, why not just steal the person and take
But
their
some
organs?
people do pay though. That's the thing. People out of desperacy will pay whatever they have in order to get their children.
I mean,
or
if you don't have it, you don't have it,
family.
though.
Yeah, I
When
mean,
you don't have it, it's like,
I guess the rich, are off limits.
yeah.
Yeah.
The thing with the cyber kidnapping, though, I was like, this sounds like it's one of his friends.
Yeah,
Just trying to steal.
that's what I'm saying. I'm a little
steal their parents'
confused. Like,
money.
how I'm still not understanding. So, did he leave and go to the wilderness
Yes.
because somebody told him to?
They told him,
Yes.
if you don't go and isolate yourself and sleep in a tent, we're gonna kill your family.
He believed that. And then they
send
counteracted
us
it.
pictures.
So, what was the proof for him that gave him the trigger to like, okay, I have to do this?
I'll be damned, man. I'll be
It could be
damned.
the whole AI thing he's talking about.
I don't know.
This is a mystery to me.
It's just an idiot, bro. It's just people that are idiots, and then people reach out to them through the internet and say, we're going to harm your family if you don't do this.
Let somebody
then they
call me and
believe
tell
it.
me that. I'll be like, you know my mom?
Yeah, exactly.
You know my mom?
Like,
You can try.
good luck.
You stupid.
May the force be with you, my friend. But, yeah, next.
Next up, Jeffrey Epstein documents fall short of online expectations. So, the release of dozens of previously sealed court documents from a lawsuit involving Jeffrey Epstein might disappoint online sleuths who anticipated explosive new information. The roughly 60 documents released as of Thursday largely mention figures whose names were already known, including high-profile friends of Epstein's and victims who have spoken publicly. In fact, the judge who made the call last month to release the information said she was doing so largely because much of it is already public. The plan to release the documents had prompted rumors that they contain lists of clients or co-conspirators, and misinformation about their contents is continuing to run rampant on social media. Still, the records do include some fresh details about the financier's sexual abuse of teenage girls, and offer a reminder of how he leveraged his powerful connections to recruit his victims and help cover up his crimes. One of the most notable memes of the year so far depicts one of the new names on the list, Stephen Hawking, getting up from his wheelchair and heading for the Lolita Express when he hears that Epstein has dwarfs on the island.
So, I'm just gonna call. I'm gonna call bullshit, right? And I'm gonna call bullshit, and I'm gonna say I don't think those are the real documents.
I don't either.
Because I saw the BBC covering it, right? BBC is state-owned media by the British government. And they had a picture of Prince Andrew and everybody else. It doesn't make sense for the BBC to cover the Epstein list coming out and for them to be like, yeah, you know, here's the Epstein list.
Yeah.
Because it means that they're happy that that's the Epstein list. Because why would the state-owned British government media want to go against the people that own it? Doesn't make sense, Playboy. I'm calling bullshit.
Stephen Hawking's.
I mean, I think the list was already leaked by WikiLeaks.
I'm calling bullshit in that I don't think that's the actual documents.
No, I'm talking about the actual document. People could actually look it up.
Yeah, WikiLeaks has been on it for years.
It's been released, so you could just go look through those files.
That's how they started. That's why they called Pizzagate. Like, you really want to talk about it, you need to go back and look at the emails from WikiLeaks and then do your own research and know that those emails were authenticated as being real, and the media was lying to you saying that it was a conspiracy. That's not a conspiracy, bro. That's real. Yeah. Pizzagate is real. Pizzagate ain't fake news. That's real news, Playboy.
They still have Assange locked up, right?
Bro, he's probably dead, bro.
Yeah, because I don't hear anything about his trial or nothing no more.
Yeah, I agree. He's probably dead.
Bro, he's dead.
Damn.
Next.
Well, the wheel keeps turning.
Another one bites the dust.
Next up, migrants dropped off at NJ train stations en route to New York. So, in Secaucus, New Jersey, there was a total of 23 buses carrying migrants from the U.S.-Mexico border that dropped people off at train stations across New Jersey starting on Saturday, December 30th. This is according to Secaucus Mayor Mike Ganelli and Town Administrator Gary Jeffers, who said they were briefed in a conference call at noon on Wednesday with State Police Director Colonel Patrick Callahan. The buses are still arriving. Buses continue to drop off migrants at the Secaucus train station on Wednesday, January 3rd. Governor Phil Murphy put the number of buses in the low 20s when he was asked by reporters. As of this morning, there were 20 to low 20 buses that have come through New Jersey with just under 1,000 folks on board. All but a few dozen of them proceeded to New York City without any incident to the best of his knowledge. Murphy stressed New York City is really where all of these migrants are headed, because New York is where the federal support and resources are available. 4 or 5 dozens of folks have been picked up by families in New Jersey. The majority went on to New York, said the New Jersey governor. The buses dropped off passengers at train stations in Secaucus, Edison, Trenton, and a few others. They did this to sidestep a new order from New York City that limits when they can enter the city. So, yeah. Seems pretty weird to me. Something's up. That there's like, the destination is New York City.
Well, because I think certain cities have said, like, yeah, we'll take the migrants.
But they're so heavily populated already.
You're right.
Yeah,
it's weird, but
surely
a lot of immigrants
there's
always
some
come
reason.
through New York. That's like the first state you land in. I mean, even us.
Yeah,
as a
bro, but they're
refugee when
gonna
we
take
came,
people.
That's how it was.
Yeah, I mean, you either get help or what they do is they're gonna harvest your organs.
That's not funny.
Yeah,
But it's true. Sometimes you have to laugh at what's true, because it's the only way, you get through it. But yeah, it's weird though.
They're gonna get you. They're gonna get you somehow.
There's a whole documentary on it. You guys should watch it. It's pretty.
On what?
It's pretty
Harvesting your organs? I'm good, bro.
rough. It's pretty rough.
And we're moving on.
So I was like, you don't want to sleep for the next week? He's like, great documentary. I'll send it to you.
A little.
Watch it tonight.
We're still in the weird bag, but a little less weird than Zawaz's Netflix watching. Christian Ouija board causing Catholic concern online.
Christian Ouija board.
I love the Ouija board, man.
This is named the Holy Spirit board by Holy Spirit Games. A Christian religious talking board for seance with planchette. The game advertises itself on Amazon as a way to help people directly talk to our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ.
You can't make this shit up, bro.
Quote, get the answers you need, exclamation.
Wow.
The Holy Spirit board can answer all of life's most important questions straight from the man himself. Unlike other spirit boards that are often used to contact ghosts and demons, this is a one-way ticket straight to heaven. While the board's layout looks similar to a Ouija board, it differs by including an image of Jesus crucified on the cross, 3 angels, a dove, and a cross to be moved around on the board.
Are they selling this at Walmart? Like, where do we get
It's
this?
on Amazon.
It's on Amazon?
Yeah.
Is it too late to get same-day delivery?
I'm gonna look at
Are you
this.
about to order it?
No, I'm gonna look at it. I want to see how much,
How much
is
sold.
There was a priest that was warning people about this board, and he warned that the board could potentially start, quote, opening a door that could be dangerous for you, and that a player might, quote, think that it is God who is talking with you, but it's not. If the Ouija board triangle is moving by itself, be careful. It's not God who is moving, it's the devil.
Oh,
The
Lord
Catholic-
Jesus, help us.
The Catholic Church rejects and condemns the use of Ouija boards, labeling it an occult participation and divination. All forms of divination
That
are
looks
to
like
be
a dick and
rejected.
balls. Kaji's even just pulled it up. It looks like a dick and balls.
Oh man!
This is crazy.
So yeah,
How much
man,
is
there are people.
$30.
Like $30?
How much is a regular Ouija board?
I don't know, but I'm about to see if people are really
Come on
buying
now, you
this.
know you gotta pay a little extra for Jesus.
Man, fuck Jesus.
You want to talk directly to the Lord and Savior. You
This
need
is
to
a
put-
fabulous game. I love it. 5 stars. It's great. Absolutely brilliant. Ignore the bad reviews.
Hey man.
Man, finally getting answers.
I thought you didn't need to do all that stuff. You could just go to Jesus directly. That was like the whole point.
I mean,
It's like Jesus is with you. You don't have to do any of that stuff.
but where's the proof? Now you got proof.
Mind blown.
According to the people on Amazon, it's giving them the answers they've been asking for. So, that's the proof.
I think we need to get it, and then we need to play it on air. Like we need to do it. Like we need to play the Christian Ouija board on air. And I think that's all we can say on that one. Next.
This one had me rolling. Las Vegas judge attacked by a very athletic criminal.
Man, I saw that.
Did you see that?
I
video?
saw that.
Oh my god.
Bro, how high is the...
Hold on, let me tell the story.
He cleared
Let
it.
me tell the story.
Yo.
A New York judge received a shock when a freshly convicted criminal attacked her after she denied him bail. Judge Mary Kay Holthus from Clark County District Court was sentencing convicted criminal Deobra DeLone Redden when she was forced to duck and hide after he threw himself over the bench in an attempt to attack her. A clip showed the criminal dramatically leap out from where he was standing and take aim at the judge to tackle her. He can
That's
be
not
heard,
accurate.
He can be
Because he
heard.
got her.
He can be heard saying the words, "Nah, fuck this bitch," after the judge denied his request for bail. In the video, he can be heard repeatedly punching Holthus and screaming at her using explicit language. The judge can also be heard begging the angry criminal to get off of her as security attempted to restrain him.
I mean,
my God.
Goodness.
You can
That's
hear
what
it.
she's like, oh my God.
The judge's benches are so
They're so high.
so high.
It's
He
like at
cleared
least
it.
It's like 12 feet high.
It's
At
not like
least.
he
cleared
kind of
that.
clipped it and then climbed over it. He
Nah, he
cleared it.
No,
cleared
he
it.
cleared it, bro. His torso was over it.
He like Superman.
Yeah, like his torso was over it. It was like,
Bro, how is my question? How?
No,
He
that
was
was
like,
a
if
funny
I'm going
video.
to jail, I'm
Yeah,
going.
that was
it's
a
like, if I'm
funny
going to
video.
jail, I might as well just go down with a felony too.
But bro, come on, bro. Like you just did it. You did it so bad on yourself.
Like
Yeah,
assaulting a
assaulting a
judge
judge.
is, bruh,
So
bruh.
But I
He's
bet
gonna
you.
be-
Now you ain't never getting out.
But I bet you
He's
she's
gonna be high jump
readjust
champion in the
herself
prison.
moving forward. The way that she's gonna be judging
So you
moving
saying we should
forward.
just all start beating up the judges?
Bro, if we could chop off the head of politicians every election cycle, it would be a different world, bro.
Oh yeah,
That's a
I agree.
fact.
Be a
I
different
agree.
That's a
world.
fact.
Yeah, I said it. Next.
next up, Donald Trump being barred from presidential elections. So the U.S. Supreme Court said Friday
What?
it will review the Colorado Supreme Court's unprecedented decision to remove former President Donald Trump from the state's ballot. The court scheduled oral arguments for February 8th. Trump remains on the primary ballot as the lower court ruling disqualifying him has been put on hold pending Supreme Court action. If the justices do conclude Trump is ineligible for public office, then any votes cast for him wouldn't count. Trump appealed the Colorado decision to the U.S. Supreme Court on Wednesday, a week after the state's Republican Party also asked the justices to hear the case. And the stunning 4-3 decision last month said that Trump is constitutionally ineligible to run in 2024 because of the 14th Amendment's ban on insurrections holding office, covering his conduct on January 6, 2021. So basically, because he turned up the White House, he can't come back.
I don't think Supreme Court's gonna let that fly, but we'll see what happens, man. We will see. But I don't think they're gonna let that rock, honestly.
They just trying everything to get this guy out.
Yeah, because they know he's gonna win.
But it might be interesting if they do it and then the votes for him don't count.
Yeah, I think there's gonna be an issue. But I think he's gonna win. Just putting it out there.
Yeah, we'll see.
I think he's gonna win. I think that's why they're trying so hard to stop him.
Yeah.
Next.
I think that was the last one.
All right. So, time for the proverb. When you must choose between good health and wealth, it will be better to choose good health. Because when you have good health, there will always be ways to gain wealth. This is a proverb coming from an ancestor that spoke in the 423 divination for this year in the Kepta temples. What are your thoughts?
It's true.
I think the best way to put it is if you're healthy and you have $20 versus when you're not healthy and you have $20,
It's a different person.
different person. So, I mean, hey, you know, when you have your health, you can always make something happen, technically. You can always get something going. But when you don't have your health, it's difficult, man.
And I mean, you know, this might be a stretch to tie it in, but I think what Katt Williams is exemplifying is a sense of like, I would rather my mental health. I would rather my integrity, the integrity, and the health of my integrity than the wealth that you can offer to me.
Or not even the wealth, the money.
Exactly.
The money
More
you can offer.
accurately,
Exactly.
The money.
Yeah.
Exactly. So yeah, that's all Kenny Boss has got from behind the scenes, man.
And that's all we got for you in front of the scenes. With that being said, it's been another episode of the Giddy Gates podcast. We appreciate you guys for tuning in. We hope you guys continue to tune in. We'll be back with you guys next week. Be well. You know, hope everything is good during this time. This is the fasting period for us. We're fasting from January 5th to January 14th. It is a 10-day fast. If you want more information, check us out. There's going to be a lot of things on our social media pages. It's going to be, you know, talking about different things and all those kind of things. And hey, we'll
We
be
also
up with
have
you
a free
guys.
calendar that
A
offers
free
you some
journal, free
information.
10-day journal, right?
No, a free calendar app that
Oh,
shows you
yeah.
that information as well.
Yeah, you can get the Comedic calendar app.
Yep.
We'll be back with you guys next week. See you guys then. Idiot Mankrui.
Mankrui.
Have a good one.
Yeah.